Three, two, one. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the 9 Hole Podcast. This is your host, Ian Miller. Today, I am joined by Braden Reed, a second team all-conference infielder from Cuyahoga Community College, if you will. Am I saying that right? Cuyahoga, man.
Yeah, Cuyahoga. Yep, you got it.
Okay. Well, it's a pleasure to have you here, bro. You had a monster sophomore season, and I wanted to talk to you about it. But first off, dude, how are you doing, man? How's life for you right now, and kind of where are you at in your process, baseball-wise?
First of all, thanks for having me on. It's an honor to be on here.
Of course, brother.
So right now with baseball, we finished up a few weeks ago. I finished my sophomore year. Recruiting starting to pick up as the schools are finishing up their season. So yeah, recruiting's picking up, working a little bit, getting into the summer season. Just grinding. Absolutely.
Love that, dude. Love that. So I wanted to have you on here because I hear me here at the 9 Hole Podcast, man. I'm aiming at providing info and insights to the next generation of baseball players, dude. And so the reason for the 9 Hole name is that I was fortunate enough to make it to the big leagues in the 9 Hole. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to speak to the next generation of 9 Hole hitters like me, that weren't first rounders, that weren't full ride dudes to D1 schools, that aren't 6'10", throwing 100 miles an hour, dudes like you and I that have to scratch and claw and grind to put up numbers and maximize our careers, brother. So I wanted to have you on. You started this season 0 for 15. So you
Yep.
started this year in an 0 for 15 rut that for some people might be tough to get out of, especially that young. Dude, if you start the season on the back foot like that, sometimes it's tough to get a handle on it before it starts spiraling out of control. And then there's the whole season for subpar numbers.
For
You
sure.
finished the year with a 370 batting average, starting 0 for 15, dude. Please walk us through that. I'm going to ask you specific questions off of that, dude, but was it a specific idea, approach, thought process? Like, dude, what worked for you and why?
So yeah, starting out, we went down to Cleveland, Tennessee, played Cleveland Community College. Um, I didn't have the series I wanted. Obviously, I was like 0 for 12 or 1 for 12, something like that, with like 6 or 7 strikeouts, and I didn't really have an approach. I was swinging at junk all the time, curveballs in the dirt, and I came back and my hitting coach kind of showed me some things that were wrong with my swing, and I was like, all right, yeah, whatever. I'm not a big swing guy when it comes to the season, obviously. That's for the off season, but yeah, we come back. We played Mott Community College, I believe, and then I was actually 0 for 5 the first day. So we played double headers. It's 7 double headers each day. So the first day I was like 0 for 5 with like a walk or something, but it was like loud barrels. And that's after you had reached out and said, stick to that fastball approach, that 2-0 count, runner on third approach. We're doing damage just sitting on a fastball, and your athletic ability will take over. So I implemented that into my approach before that game. And I'm flying out to the warning track. I actually hit a ball straight off the pitcher's leg, rolled to the second baseman, and I got canned at first. But still, man, after that game, I realized, like, this approach, I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna trust it. I might have been 1 for 18 at that point, actually. So
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So yeah, so that really turned my season around. After that, I think I didn't strike out for like a month or something. Multi-hit games, like almost every game. I think I can count on my hand, how many times I didn't have a hit the rest of the season in a game. So
that's just that's a thought so that is more so, in your words, like a thought process, or maybe okay, so you would go to the plate thinking that you were in a plus count, regardless of the count. You would go in there thinking 2-0 count, man on third base. I'm going to look for my pitch regardless of the count. I'm going to treat it like I am in an attack count, a hitter's count, and I'm going to hunt for a fastball.
Yeah, exactly. So we're doing damage, and then when you're sitting on a fastball, your athletic ability will take over. And there's this compared to last year, like I have pictures of like me at contact, and I'm hitting curveballs like this far outside down the first base line and off speed below my knees, pulling it down the line for a home run, and I've never done that before. You know what
Keeping
I
it
mean?
fair. Yeah.
Yeah,
Backspin.
like even if you're sitting on a fastball, if you react to off speed pitches more, the ones that you like, and you can drive them better. Like you just turn into a way better athlete, way better hitter.
You just react. So
Exactly. Yeah.
you're not sitting on the pop-up curveball or the fucking get me over changeup. You're sitting
Exactly.
hard in the middle of the zone, and anything that comes out of his hand that is up, right? He leaves it up. You're
Hmm.
sitting and you're on that fastball, and you'll be able to be in an athletic position. Your brain's kind of turned off. You just react to anything that's hanging, right? And you're able to keep it fair. You're able to put backspin on it. Did you pair this mentality, this mindset, this approach with a certain mechanic? I know you said like when the season's going on, dude, you're not extremely mechanical because that's more of an off-season build. Like,
Hmm.
was there a certain mechanic or a certain fine tuning in anything that you did physically, or was it more so this mentality and this approach kind of shift?
Yeah, like during BP, and even sometimes during the game, when I felt rushed, I would tell myself not to let my front foot come down. And
Okay.
I know that's super like super new school style of hitting, but for me it slowed me down. Like it was a way for me to slow myself down. I know there's a bunch of different ways to do it, but that's just what worked for me.
Okay. I love
So
that. Dude,
yeah.
I love that. So you were obviously able to implement everything that you were doing and put out a absolutely productive and fantastic sophomore season at Tri-C, dude. So you were able to turn the season around with a mindset shift, maybe with a new approach, not so much mechanical adjustments, but you were able to slow things down, both physically and mentally, emotionally, all that good stuff, dude. So
So
we talked about the approach, man. Run me through BP. So you took this 2-0 approach, plus count, fastball middle, man on third. You're trying to do damage. You're trying to score that imaginary runner on third base, home, however you want to do it. Dude, what was your BP like? What were you doing in BP? What were you trying to do? Were you implementing new drills, or were you trying to do this approach in BP?
yeah, so I mean, when we would take BP, I mean, sometimes it was hard, time constraints and stuff,
For sure.
but I kept it simple. Like I said, not letting my front foot get down, trusting myself, being slow. You know, kind of I'm a lot quicker than I think I am. So, like I said, not letting my front foot get down, and I'm just living over the second baseman's head, kind of right center gap.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You're righty, so you're trying to drive it through that right center gap.
Yep.
So even in the cage, right? If you're getting cage work in, or you get T work in, um, are you kind of doing the same thing, or is that more so, yeah, with
Yeah.
flips and everything?
Yeah. Pretty much doing the same thing. I mean, there's some rounds where I kind of got to feel myself kind of get big, obviously, but but yeah, I'm just trying to keep it simple, keep it the same.
That's fantastic, dude. And were there any specific points this year where you were kind of able to lock it back in? So let's say if you were having trouble, let's say your freshman year, you were having trouble with righty sidewinders or dudes out of the bullpen that were throwing submarine. And whatever happened your freshman year happened, and you're in your sophomore year right now. Your things are picking up, dude. You're raking. Has there been a point this year where you were able to look back at your freshman year and be like, I'm a little different than last year. I've made strides and improvements this year. I'm not saying it's got to do with your approach or, what you necessarily brought out at the plate, right? If it's a specific mindset. I'm just saying overall in general, like compared to last year at this time, were there specific instances where it was like, dude, I am leaps and bounds better than I was last year?
Yeah, even last year, I hit really well to start off the year. I think I had got to the number one spot in our JUCO leaderboards or something, 514 through 25 games or something, and then
Wild.
um, you know, I went probably 0 for 4 one game and tried to change stuff like every amateur hitter does, and ended up, still having a good year, but not the
Yeah,
year that I started out with. So
gotcha.
this year, I would fall into like 0 for 2 and 0 for 3, and I would, kind of be like, yo, trust yourself. Like just let it come to you. Don't turn 0 for 4 into 0 for 10. You know what I mean? Like
For sure.
it happens to everybody. It's more of a, I didn't do anything to my swing, obviously. It's just a mindset thing. Like honestly, I told myself like not to care, if
Mm,
that makes sense, so I could play
yes.
free.
Yes, dude. That makes
Yeah.
a ton of sense, man. So, yeah, dude, I absolutely love it. What were the frustrations like? So this year, man, even if you tear the cover off the ball and you finish your season hitting 370, which is insane, there are going to be some times, maybe a series or back-to-back games or a stretch of 10 ABs where things are not going your way. How were you able to deal with those frustrations, and how were you able to lock it back in?
I've seen a lot of things. I can't remember who said it online, but it was like, was I on time? Did I stick to my approach? Did I swing at a good pitch? And I would run myself through that every single at bat, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I did. I did stick to my approach. I swung at a good pitch, and I put a good barrel on it. It just the outcome didn't come back the way I wanted it to.
100%.
Then when I wouldn't have, when that stuff wouldn't line up, I would kind of relock in and just remind myself of my cues and stick to my approach.
Love it,
So
dude. I love
so
it.
yeah,
So how many home runs did you end up with on the season?
I only had two.
Okay, so walk me through the stats, man, because I see the 370 batting average, man. What kind of RBIs did you put up, man? What were do you like off the top of the head? Do you know that stuff?
I think I was around 20 RBIs. I
Nice.
did get injured for a couple weeks,
Yeah,
which kind of set me back a little bit.
I
But
get it.
I will say this though. Last year I had a slight injury, and when I came back, it was a mess. But this year, I came back and I kind of lit the game on fire. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
brother. Yeah,
So this year was like 20 RBIs, a couple bombs, about 30 runs scored, probably
love it.
eight or nine extra base hits with like 35 hits total.
That's fire, bro. So
So,
um, dude, that's fire. I love that. Just a couple more questions for you, Braden. Again, I'm extremely grateful for your time, bro. Coming on
cool.
here, talking about your story, talking a little bit about your approach and your success this year, man. So you touched on you had the hot start last year, dude. You're banging. You got hurt, came
Mhm.
back, and it wasn't the same. So talking about it this year, you might have gotten banged up a little bit, but you came back. You set the world on fire. What was the difference between coming off of those injuries? Was it a mindset thing? Was it the way you rehabbed? Like, man, run me through that.
It was the approach, man. That fastball approach. Last year I didn't stick to an approach. I was trying to do too much, probably. Like every young hitter. But this year, I matured, so sticking to that approach, and yeah, that's all I could say to it. Another thing was confidence.
Mm,
I'm kind of tricking myself into walking up there like overly confident. Walking different, kind of like Jose Ramirez, honestly. You
yeah.
know how he's got like a little funky walk, and I'm kind of walking up like that. Maybe staring at the pitcher, grabbing my junk a little bit, but that
Hell yeah.
tricked me into being like I'm that dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, brother. That
Something I
confidence,
had
man.
last year. Yeah, absolutely.
I love hearing that, dude. So I had this thought, I had this idea. I kind of put it down in the some of the content that the nine holes put out. I put it in the newsletter. The nine hole newsletter drops every week, goes out every Saturday. Man, I wanted to talk about confidence. I wanted to talk about becoming the player that you want to become. So when we talk about becoming a 300 hitter, this is for dudes that are below you in terms of age, skill, and level. So these are high school players. These are middle school like younger, right? If they want to become a 300 hitter and they are currently at 220 or 230 or 240, right? They're not where they want to be. Like I tried to break it down. And how do you become that 300 hitter? How do you become that player that's able to hit 330? How do you become like a 350 hitter? How do you become a 370 hitter? And so the way that I broke it down using words, right? I typed it out. It was, if you want to become a 300 hitter, you need to become the type of person that is capable of hitting 300. So it's
For
not
sure.
a specific mechanic. It's not a specific stance. It's not a specific launch angle or uppercut swing or swinging down. Dude, it's becoming that type of person. So when you're talking about putting in that extra work behind the scenes, you're hitting in the cage, you're hitting off the tee, and you're locking into your approach. You're not deviating from that. You're treating it like a plus count. You're trying to drive it into the right center field gap, or you're
Mhm.
trying to, score that runner from third base. It's becoming that person that's able to produce those results. How can you expect to play at a championship level if you're not capable of playing, championship baseball? If you're not like you're not equipped to play at a championship caliber. You can't win a championship. You can't expect to win one if you can't play at that level, right? Dude,
100%.
in your journey, being able to hit 370, regardless of what level you're at,
Mhm.
I would love to get your take on that, bro. What would you say was extremely instrumental outside of like the approach on becoming that 300 plus type hitter?
Yeah. So I mean, I'll start with this. In high school, I was kind of put into a sacrifice role for my coach. That's not anything against him. It just wasn't who I was. Um, I think I scratched just above 300 my senior year, hit like 250 my junior year of high school. And then I had one offer. I kind of filled out a Google form for Tri-C, and um, I got the opportunity to play here. But yeah, I guess coming into the fall, it was just like a confidence thing. I kind of tricked myself into thinking like, I was a lot bigger than I was. Like it was a whole mindset switch. I was a completely different person with confidence than I was in high school when I got to college.
Gotcha.
And I started driving the ball all over the place and just stuff like that. Ended up like this year, I think I hit like 370 in the fall, which I had never really done before. And I'm like, okay, like this, I think this is who I am.
Love that.
So I'd say switching over to being that hitter is a whole confidence thing. It's nothing mechanical. It's just being who you are and being confident in who you are.
I love that, dude.
That's
And you were able to kind of get that confidence, build on it by the success you were having, on the field, right? You're putting in the time, you're putting in the effort, you're getting the results. That's a confidence breeding attribute. That's a confidence breeding, cycle right there. You're putting in the time and effort, and you're being rewarded by the whole process by putting out the results, right? So you're able to get the confidence from that, man. That's like contagious. You stack those wins, you win the fall, and then you go out, you win the spring. You know what I mean? And then it like sky's the limit, dude. So before I let you go here, brother, I just wanted to kind of what are you hoping to do these next, hopefully 1-2 years, right? Are you hoping to go to a specific spot, a specific level, man? What are your hopes and dreams? And dude, what are you going to be able to offer? A program that wants a baller like you.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to go to a great program that gives me the opportunity to play pro ball. Obviously, whether that be, you know, indie ball, you know, the league, obviously. But
Yeah,
yeah, I just want to enjoy my time at a great school, win a lot of ball games. I hate being a part of a losing team, so I love to win. So just being a part of a good culture, good program, meet new people too. It's bigger than baseball a lot of the time. So
love
so
that.
100% just go somewhere where I enjoy it.
Love it. Love it. Braden, thank you very much, brother, for your time. Thank you for, opening up a little bit about your story, the success that you've had, this year. Had a great year last year as well, bro. Man, we wish you all the best, and we'll be following you along on your
Yeah.
journey, brother. Thank you again for your time.
Thanks for having me on, man. It was
Of
an
course,
honor.
of course, man. We'll stay in contact, dude. We'll keep tabs
Absolutely.
on you from here on out. Everybody, appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you back here again tomorrow with Zach Granite. Take care, guys. Thank you, Braden.
Yep, of course.